The Parent Bill of Rights that we tried to get passed in Wisconsin had to do with the right of the parent to select the name and pronouns of their child when they were in school, the right to direct the religious upbringing of their child, things along these lines that, by the way, were already the law, but not being respected. How many of you follow K-12 bills that are introduced in your state? Okay, that's a pretty good number, more than half. How many of you have ever went and testified or submitted testimony on any of those? Okay, still a handful, very good. And I'm curious, just shout out, what kind of a bill was this? Reading? Privacy, okay. Yes, I know many states right now are passing literacy laws, things that align with the science of reading, that ban 3Qing. Another effort that I'm seeing a little bit less lately, but was really popular in the last several years, are state-level parent bills of rights. And I think any of these categories, whether it has to do with teacher management of your classroom so that you are empowered by the administration to actually manage your classroom, and have the backing of some laws to do that, or literacy, parents' bills of rights. I think that at the state level, legislators hearing from you, the teachers that are actually in the classroom, is incredibly impactful. And it sounds like a lot of you already have a mechanism to kind of track those kinds of bills, but if you don't, try to find a organization in your state. Like in Wisconsin, we kind of do some of this. A lot of states have what is called like a state policy network organization that can kind of help you track these things. But any way you can make your voice heard, I think that's very impactful to legislators at the state level. And obviously we have blue states, red states, purple states. How effective that is going to vary. In Wisconsin, we're kind of a purple state, so actually a lot of my work has been at the local level, because when you can't get something passed at the state level, that doesn't mean that you can't do it in your local school district. As long as it doesn't conflict with the state law or federal law, then the local school district is a great place to do these kinds of things. And before we move on, I just want to talk a little bit more in detail about these parent bills of rights, family bills of rights, whatever you want to call them. This right, this parental right, goes all the way back to a United States Supreme Court case in 1925 called Pierce versus Society of Sisters. For some reason, many school districts nowadays are not respecting parental rights, and it's a long-standing right that has been affirmed over the years by the United States Supreme Court, and actually just reaffirmed last month in a case called Mahmoud versus Taylor. So this is something that is very well recognized. I would love to see the case law continue to develop even more so we know exactly what the scope of this right is, particularly with some of these gender secrecy policies that we're seeing. But I think things are moving in the right direction. And that, by the way, that constitutional right of parents to direct the upbringing of their children, and I'm guessing we have several parents in this room too, that has to do with directing the care, the upbringing, the education, and it includes the religious upbringing of your child as well. So, for example, the Parent Bill of Rights that we tried to get passed in Wisconsin had to do with the right of the parent to select the name and pronouns of their child when they were in school, the right to direct the religious upbringing of their child, things along these lines that, by the way, were already the law, but not being respected. And it's not uncommon to have a state law that kind of reaffirms or clarifies, or as long as it's consistent with federal law. Unfortunately, our governor vetoed that. And it's not uncommon to have a state law that kind of reaffirms or clarifies, or as long as it's consistent with federal law. Unfortunately, our governor vetoed that law in Wisconsin. But again, that doesn't mean that it can't be done at the local level. And I think as teachers, it's good to know what is the status of the law on this topic, and kind of partner with parents to ensure that their rights are respected, and that as a teacher as well, you're empowered and educated and advocating for the best possible legal framework at all levels, local, state, and federal.